This is another 4-player fixed card game which is being played with my subscribers. The purple player is a Grandmaster, the blue player is a Grandmaster as well who is playing on his alternative expert account, and the white player is a Master. This time I've been thinking for a while where I should add my troops to or for which continent I should go for. What I saw that I had a bunch of troops in North America, and then some in Europe too, but both of these continents were crowded with a lot of troops of other players too. So I knew that if I go for any of these continents then the chances were that I wasn't going to get them anytime soon, so I decided to go for Australia instead, in which the blue and white player had some troops also, but if any of them had added some troops into it after me as well, then I think Australia wouldn't have belonged to any of us, with the two other players having better expansion possibilities to capture more stuff and grow strong. So I'm very happy that nobody decided to contest for it with me. I've just captured that one troop territory in Australia, so both of these players' 3 troop armies would have a space to attack. But of course not necessary they have to waste their troops here, they can leave them here, so I will have to take as much time as possible before finally capturing Australia. And it seems this time I will take a very long time to capture Australia. Because the purple player is very sus with him building a big troops army in Asia, so I assume he waits till I capture Australia wasting my troops, so then he could easily take it from me. And then the white player is a little bit sus too with him having that 8 troops army on India, so he might have some sneaky plans too. I think either that or he will bring these troops to either South America or Africa. And it seems he will go for South America, which is an obviously great choice. It's good to capture a continent as soon as possible, so you would start receiving these sweet troop bonuses as soon as possible. So of course you just need to be wise about that, as otherwise you could potentially wipe out a continent for your opponent. So this is why I'm taking my time to capture Australia, as while the white player was safe to capture a continent, I'm unfortunately not. And the purple player is getting more and more sus, he neither show the intention to go for Africa nor for North America, so I assume he is either potentially hoping that I will clear out Australia for him, or he is planning to use no continent strategy, as I doubt he would actually intend to go for Asia. I've just traded in a set to make sure that nobody sneaks in Australia, but I think I will wait a bit more before capturing it. The blue player is not helping me out by not wasting his troops in Australia, so I'm not helping him out by not moving my troops from Europe either. And Europe is a big continent after all, while I'm going for a small one, so I don't think if I were very keen to help him out either way. But alright, he captured it anyway. And from what I see, I predict that this game will be very stalemating, as the white player seems to be using the South American turtle strategy, the blue player is the European turtle strategy, and the purple player the no continent turtle strategy, so I assume I will have to go with the Australian turtle strategy as well. But alright, the white player is not letting the blue player hold unguarded Europe, so I think as a small continent player I should help the white player out as well. But firstly I need to capture Australia, and I just did. I've got very good blitz rolls, and if the purple player tried taking it from me right now, then I think he would just suicide. The purple player still keeps building his army in Asia without showing any intentions to neither go to Africa nor North America, and with that no matter what his plan is, he seems to be threatening for me for sure. So with that I might not be able to attack the blue player that much like I would potentially would like to. I might feel differently if the purple player's army was blocked, but with it being unleashed, I feel like the purple player is looking forward to strike to me as soon as I become more vulnerable. So with that having in mind, I have not to forget that I cannot waste a bunch of troops no matter what I would like to attack. So I decided to invade the blue player into Europe with my biggest army only having to attack 1 troop, instead of adding my new troops in North America and invade the blue player from Greenland and at the same time taking his 9 troops down. I wouldn't like the purple player to crush my Australian army in case I leave it way too weak. What I like is that the purple player invaded white into his unguarded South America, so with that the white player might stop using the turtling strategy and start properly guarding his borders. It seems what the blue player has switched Europe to Africa, which I think is a brilliant move, as now I think he should be able to successfully hold it with having big armies on all of his 3 borders. My army is blocked from invading them, and then I wouldn't waste a lot of troops anyway when the purple player is near and feels very threatening. And then the white player probably wouldn't have afforded to waste his troops either. So I would say that the blue player is in a good position right now. With him becoming a small continent player as well like I am and the white player is, I think now it would make the most sense to just go after the player who is the easiest target, and it's probably the no continent player who at this case is purple. I was already considering taking him out in the last turn, but thought it might be quite risky, and now I'm thinking of taking him again since he didn't trade in a set. And I think it's affordable. I think it shouldn't give away the game to anyone, and then I should have enough troops to survive myself. I mean, the safest and probably the best decision would probably be just to continue turtling, but my opponents are very passive in this game and I don't want the game to stalemate, so I decided to rather risk my position rather than ending up in a boring few hours game. Now I know if I put my troops into Australia, then they could potentially try to trap me, but maybe not necessary, as the white player invaded blue into Europe back then, so I'm actually very wondering to see what they are going to do. I think even if they trap me, then I think I should be able to get out of the trap, or at least force another player to betray his ally, though even though my opponents are high-ranked, I'm not sure how experienced they are when it comes to the situations like these. It could be possible that the player which I forced to betray his ally, could still let him hold continents and gave away the game to him. So this is where my biggest worry actually is. And unfortunately with the blue player suggesting white to go for the Australian trap strategy with his fortification choice, it seems the white player followed it to try trapping me as well. But oh well, I saw that coming, so now I will try my best to get out of this losing situation. Too bad that I have a very small army, so with that I'm in a way bigger risk in comparison if I had had a much bigger army, as soon enough I could become affordable to be taken out, so actually it was way bigger risk to get myself potentially trapped than I initially thought at first. But alright, thankfully I was able to break through the blue player. The 6 troop set screwed me over but averagely good manual rolls came to rescue me. And if you're wondering what I would have done if I hadn't brought through blue, then I would have fortified my biggest army next to the blue player's borders, and manual rolled one of his armies at much, that he would be forced to betray the white player in order for the balance of the game to be saved. Though again, with my army being very small, I'm not sure how well would have it gone. Anyway, if you're wondering why I targeted the blue player instead of the white player, is because in the situation like these when you want to make another player to be forced to betray his ally who holds big continents as well, then you have to start weakening the player who has the turn after you, as then that player could still attack that player to save the balance of the game, while if I intended to weaken the player who has a turn before me, then that player wouldn't have an ability to break through other opponents' continents, and with that opponent receiving those troop bonuses he would win the game. So as you can see the blue player's turn is after mine, so I'm invading him again while unleashing his biggest army, so he would attack the white player and save the balance of the game from potentially becoming broken. As of now it's relatively risky for blue to only invade white into South America while not weakening white any further, as with that the white player could relatively likely to decide to take me out, but the blue player is willing to gamble, so we are going to see how it goes for him. The white player seems to have made his decision to take me out, so the game is lost for me either way, so we are just going to spectate how that works out for both of the players. It seems that the situation at the first sight looks close, but the white player is probably still in the advantage here I would say. Though I'm not totally sure, I guess the situation should be much more clear after the blue player trades in a set and makes his turn. Unfortunately to the blue player he got the worst set possible, but the white player has ran out of time to fortify his 8 troops army which is not going to be unblocked. What's good for the white player though, is that he is supposed to trade in the sets earlier than blue which might decide a lot. Too bad the blue player didn't end up capturing Australia, as with him having South America the white player might have been able to invade only one of them. Assuming the white player wouldn't have gotten a set, but he was blessed with even 10 troops won. Though unfortunately for the white player it seems he forgot about the blue player's South America. And the white player still keeps his 8 troops army blocked, though maybe this time it doesn't matter, as it seems the blue player has to unleash it if he wants to invade both of the white player's continents. The white player has just ended his turn and it seems that the blue player is in a tough situation. But he manages to break through the white player's continent successfully and still has 3 troops for Australia. And with that we have the situation which could potentially turn the table around to the blue player's favor. So let's see what kind of a blitz roll the white player is going to get. And he is very lucky to lose no troops in a 6 versus 3 blitz roll. So I think that's a GG. The white player should win the game now. And that's right, opponents still fought each other for a few more turns but the white player prevailed and took the victory. Now I would recommend you watching this fun video. It's an epic 6-player fixed card game with South America enjoyer and Australia lover. That game is just hilarious.